4 years ago, this progressive rock supergroup released their first album in 22 years. Today I'm talking about Liquid Tension Experiment, which is one of the most exciting projects in progressive rock and metal. It's not a normal band. It's four top musicians coming together to see how far they can push instrumental music. Their story is about incredible skill, a long break, and a comeback more than 20 years later. The band started in the late 1990s. Dream Theater drummer Mike Portnoy wanted a side project where he could play freely with other great players. He called guitarist John Petrucci, also from Dream Theater, keyboardist Jordan Rudess, who wasn't in Dream Theater at the time, and legendary bassist Tony Levin from King Crimson and other bands. The plan was simple: no singer, no rules, just music. In 1998, they released their first album, Liquid Tension Experiment. It was fast, complex, and full of energy. Songs like Paradigm Shift and Universal Mind mixed heavy riffs, tricky rhythms, and moments of quiet beauty. Fans were blown away by the band's skill, and by the way, it all locked together. They didn't stop there. A year later, they released Liquid Tension Experiment 2. This album pushed things even further. Tracks like Acid Rain and Another Dimension were even more intense. The chemistry between the four musicians was so strong that Dream Theater invited Jordan Rudess to join their band. He said yes, and that decision changed Dream Theater's future. After that, Liquid Tension Experiment went silent. Each member focused on other projects. Fans hoped for a third album, but nothing happened for over 20 years. It seemed like the band might never return. Then 2020 arrived. The pandemic stopped touring and gave the musicians time. Portnoy, Petrucci, Rudess, and Levin finally came back together. In 2021, they released Liquid Tension Experiment 3, their first album in more than 2 decades. The new album sounds powerful and fresh. From the opening track Hypersonic to the effort closer Key to the Imagination, the band shows they haven't lost their edge. Songs like Beating the Odds and The Passage of Time balance heavy riffs, strong melodies. There are even fun moments like Chris and Kevin's Amazing Odyssey, proving the group still enjoys playing together. I'll be talking about all the songs track by track, but before we do any of that, let's take a look at my CD. This is the deluxe edition, so let's open it up, see what's inside. Here is the first disc. You can see it right here with Liquid Tension Experiment number 3. Some cool liquid artwork there. Let's open it up. Here is the second disc, which is the bonus disc, Night at the Improv, which is just a whole other hour's worth of music. I'm not going to talk about this one later on, but I just wanted to show you that I have the deluxe edition, but inside here is a booklet. So let's take a look. Okay, this is the booklet called Liquid Tension Experiment, and we can open it up. Here is the band: Tony Levin, John Petrucci, Mike Portnoy, Jordan Rudess, and you can see them on the other side. Here's a photo of all four members just chilling and I guess practicing. Here's a middle photo with him wearing a mask. Keep in mind this was recorded right in the middle of the pandemic, and that's Tony Levin, by the way. Here's John Petrucci, and it shows him. It tells you a little bit more about him. Here's Mike Portnoy, and there's more of that liquid. Here's Jordan Rudess, and there it talks about him. And here's the band, and they're wearing masks because it was the pandemic, and also this was the promo photo that appeared, I think, a few weeks before this album was released, just to announce that the guys are back together with a new album. There's the back cover. That is all. Back to the video. The album opens with Hypersonic. The name of the song tells you what it's all about. It sounds like a space ride. It's fast and energetic with powerful drums, and the guitars and keyboards work together to create a sonic melody. It's an 8-minute journey through the cosmos. I thought it was a good way to kick off the album. You can hear the double bass drumming as well as the proggy bass guitar. The song gets more melodic towards the middle and then starts to take a few twists and turns with some amazing leads by John Petrucci. Overall, a really good way to kick off this album. The album continues with Beating the Odds. It sounds like some AC/DC style hard rock at first, but then it brings in some bright keyboard and guitar work, making it sound like something you would hear on an album from Joe Satriani or any other virtuoso guitarist. But as you would expect, there are a lot of progressive metal touches throughout the song, but all of it builds on this typical hard rock foundation. Jordan Rudess also has some awesome keyboard work, and John Petrucci has lots of melodic leads. The next song brings in some world music elements. It's called Liquid Evolution, and it's softer, it's jazzier, has a rhythm section that seems to incorporate other instruments that sound like a sitar. It also has the melodic leads of John Petrucci. They're more thought-provoking this time, and it's a short song, just over 3 minutes. The next song brings back the progressive metal energy. It's called The Passage of Time. This one sounds like it could have been a Dream Theater instrumental. It has a heavier sound, a lot of energy. The song takes twists and turns with softer piano playing that's incorporated into the song. The song goes through many different changes, has lots of melodies. Tony Levin's bass guitar can be heard very well on this track. And let me also mention that he plays this type of bass guitar called a Chapman stick, which I believe he is using here. After this is Chris and Kevin's Amazing Odyssey. It's the third song in a series based on a joke. I'll explain that in a minute. The first album had a song called Chris and Kevin's Excellent Adventure. Then the next album had a song called Chris and Kevin's Bogus Journey. And now this is the third song. Now, if you're wondering who Chris and Kevin are, it all started from a joke when a photographer accidentally called Tony Levin and Mike Portnoy Chris and Kevin. So they decided to go with it. The song is just drums and bass guitar, so it's pretty cool and has a funny story behind it. The next song is a cover song called Rhapsody in Blue. It was originally composed by George Gershwin back in 1924. It was written for a jazz band and solo piano. These guys took it to another level and gave it their unique progressive rock and metal makeover. The song has some awesome lead guitar work and some big keyboards, and they still keep that jazzy tone of the original. It's one of the longer tracks at 13 minutes, and it doesn't really stray from the sound of the original. It just adds different layers of guitars and keyboards. The middle of the song features this trippy and psychedelic interlude where everything gets soft, and you can just sit back and relax and take in all of the different sounds. It's very interesting how they can come up with all of this based on this 1920s jazz music song and make it sound like something that was written by a modern progressive metal band. Overall, it sounds very big and theatrical with lots of different changes, so I thought it was a pretty cool song. Things get a little mellow on the next track called Shades of Hope, and the first part of the song kind of sounds like this Billy Joel style piano playing, but afterwards they're bringing some softer lead guitar melodies. The song is very laid back, mostly just guitar and piano. The last track is called Key to the Imagination. It's very big and epic. It's over 13 minutes long. Starts off pretty mellow, mostly just guitar and keyboards in the beginning with a little bit of bass guitar. Mike Portnoy uses his way into the song with some cymbal crashes. Tony Levin stands out with some melodic bass guitar lines. At first the bass guitar is very melodic, but then the song changes. You hear this funky slap-based transition, which brings you to the next part of the song. At this point in the song, John Petrucci and Mike Portnoy come in and start playing heavier rhythms, and after the song starts to get heavy again, John Petrucci starts playing these heavier guitar riffs, and Jordan Rudess comes in with these progressive rock keyboards. The song's a nice balance of the soft and light. It takes more of a melodic turn afterwards. There are also some nice transitions between progressive metal and a more soft jazz type of sound. The song has many different transitions. Even one part where you hear the distorted bass guitar with Tony Levin playing this very trippy type of space rock. Then they incorporate these big and epic Arabian melodies that sound like a melody that could be from an old movie. There's much more going on with the song. I don't need to explain everything, but it's just the four members of the band giving everything that they've got. Like I showed you before, there's another CD. It's a whole other hour's worth of music. I'm not going to cover this just to keep this video a respectable length, but I just wanted to talk about how the album performed because it's interesting. It did okay in the United States. It reached 109 on the US Billboard 200 albums chart, but it did very well in Europe. For example, it peaked at number 5 in Sweden and did very well in other European countries like Finland and many others. So that's just something I found interesting. But anyway, I want to end this here. Thanks for watching. Check out this video where I talk about my box set from another progressive rock band called Yes. Thanks for watching. Like the video. Helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe if you have not already. I do content related to physical media on the channel. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.